We'll start by taking refuge. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. All right, we'll start with our 15 minutes of seated meditation. We'll recite the Gatha on opening the sutras. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. Okay, tonight, complete with audiovisual aids apparently, our Dharma brother Minwi Maitri will be giving us the Dharma talk.
Thank you, Master Unsan. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, friends, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you tonight about the Dharma. And I hope that in some way I keep it simple. Some of you know I spent 11 years in the Army, and the biggest training key in the Army was keep it simple, stupid. And so any training you had to do, keep it simple, stupid. That's both referring to the instructor being stupid enough to keep it stupid enough for the instructor to understand, but also keep it enough for the stupid soldiers to understand. So I hope tonight I can keep it simple. The Buddha often taught us in a way that was quite simple. Simple to comprehend, hard to accomplish. But having said that, I want to start off with a passage from the Dhammapada, verse 183 of the Dhammapada. The Buddha said this: cease from all evil, cultivate the good, cleanse your own mind. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. Cease from all evil, cultivate the good, cleanse your own mind. How do we do that? I also want to share with you a passage that from the Samyutta Nikaya that the Buddha shared, and I think it's a wonderful parable. It's the parable of the ancient city. And it goes like this. He says, suppose a man wandering through a forest would see an ancient path, an ancient road traveled upon by people in the past. He would follow it and he would see an ancient city, an ancient capital that had been inhabited by people in the past, with parks, groves, ponds, and ramparts, a delightful place. Then the man would inform the king or a royal minister, sire, know that while wandering through the forest, I saw an ancient path, an ancient road traveled upon by people in the past. I followed it and saw an ancient city, an ancient capital that had been inhabited by people in the past, with parks, groves, ponds, and ramparts, a delightful place. Renovate that city, sire. Then the king or the royal minister would renovate the city, and sometime later, that city would become successful and prosperous, well populated, filled with people, attain to growth and expansion. So too, I saw the ancient path, the ancient road traveled by the perfectly enlightened ones of the past. And what is that ancient path, that ancient road? It is just this noble eightfold path. That is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. I followed that path, and by doing so, I have directly known aging and death, its origin and its cessation, and the way leading to its cessation. I have directly known birth, existence, clinging, craving, feeling, contact, the six sense bases, name and form, consciousness, volitional formations, their origin, their cessation, and the way leading to their cessation. Having directly known them, I have explained them to the bhikkhus, the bhikkhunis, the male lay followers, and the female lay followers. This holy life has become successful and prosperous, extended, popular, widespread, well proclaimed among devas and humans. These are the words of the Buddha, that he was just discovering the same path that had been discovered before. It is it's not by happenstance that in verse 183 of the Dhammapada, the Buddha summarized the whole Noble Eightfold Path as cease from all evil, cultivate the good, cleanse your own mind. There's another story in the Samyutta Nikaya of Shariputra. And we chant about Shariputra every week when we do the Heart Sutra. And Shariputra was, he was in a, I think it was in a forest that he was in. And along came, well, okay, so I got it in front of me here. I'll just read it to you real quickly. This one's very brief. On one occasion, Venerable Shariputra was dwelling at Magadha at Nalakagama. Then the wanderer, Jambukadaka, approached Venerable Shariputra and exchanged greetings with him. When they had concluded their greetings and cordial talk, he sat down to one side and said to the Venerable Shariputra, "Friend Shariputra, it is said nirvana, nirvana. What now is nirvana?" Shariputra said, "It's the destruction of greed, the destruction of hatred, the destruction of delusion. This, friend, is called nirvana." But friend, is there a path? Is there a way for the realization of this nirvana? There is a path, friend. There is a way for the realization of nirvana. And what, friend, is that path? What is the way for the realization of nirvana? It is, friend, this Noble Eightfold Path. That is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is the path, friend. This is the way for the realization of nirvana. How many people ask you, "Oh, you're a Buddhist. What's nirvana?" How many times do we say when we chant or recite those four great vows every week? Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all, or we vow to help them all. What are we helping them do? We're helping them overcome their suffering. We're helping them find their own nirvana. How do we do that? We teach them the Noble Eightfold Path. That's the way. The Buddha said, here it is. I'm laying it out right for you. Follow this path. You will find nirvana. Now, it's not as simple as just saying right action, right speech, right livelihood, whatever. Because to each of these levels, there's both the mundane and the supermundane. There's both the earthly and the absolute, right? But as we learn them, as we follow them, we learn the things that the Buddha learned. Let's see if I can share my screen just a little bit. So here's my visual aids here. It's nothing that you don't know, haven't seen before. But I've grouped these as the Buddha does. In the Majjhima Nikaya, in Sutta number 44, the Chula Vedala Sutta, it's an interesting sutta, actually, because it's a story where there's a bhikkhuni who is teaching all the lessons to Visakha, who is one of the great lay followers of the Buddha and great patrons of the Buddha. And so this bhikkhuni is teaching about, in this case, the Noble Eightfold Path. And the Bhikkhuni breaks them down into three categories: the category of virtue, concentration, and wisdom. And we often hear these in their Sanskrit or their Pali terms: sila, samadhi, prajna, or sila, samadhi, panya, as they would say in Pali. But these are the three categories of what the Noble Eightfold Path is. And in the 44th Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, Visakha asks this bhikkhuni, this female nun, she asks her, she says, is the Noble Eightfold Path composed of three aggregates, or composed of three groups? And to which the answer was no. These three groups are what the Noble Eightfold Path is composed of. And it seems a little different, but the reality was, it goes back to the teaching of the Buddha in the 183rd of the Dhammapada, the 183rd verse of the Dhammapada, which was, cease doing evil, right? Grab a hold of that which is good and free your mind. And so what they were teaching here in the Noble Eightfold Path is that each of these things rely upon the other. And it's come up a few times. It came up recently when I was practicing with English Dharma group that follows the Thich Nhat Hanh Plum Village tradition. And, they focus a lot on mindfulness. And somebody had a question about, where does mindfulness fit in? And my comment to this other person was, mindfulness is a very important part of the Noble Eightfold Path, but it is only one of the seven, and we can't forget the others. And the Buddha teaches very clearly that unless we have the virtues of right speech, right action, right livelihood, that we can't gain the wisdom necessary to be that truly compassionate person, to understand the Four Noble Truths, to really understand and unlock our own minds so that we can do exactly what the Buddha was telling us to do in the Dhammapada. So when you hear the term Sila, Samadhi, Prajna, remember that's the way the Noble Eightfold Path is organized. And it's organized to lead us to greater wisdom. And as we gain that greater wisdom, we gain an understanding, the same understanding that the Buddha had, and we gain that nirvana. So what I wanted to leave with you tonight was, we're not going to go through each of these. We've heard them all a million times. But what I wanted to leave with you was really just that reiteration of what the Buddha tells us is the whole concept of learning to free ourselves from suffering. Cease from all evil. Cultivate the good. Cleanse your own mind. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go back and have another 15 minutes of seated meditation. Let's chant the Heart Sutra. Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is safe from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, all dharmas are Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on Prajna Paramita and attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajna Paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great right mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the Prajna Paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra which says Gate Gate Para Gate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Gate Gate Para Gate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Gate Gate Para Gate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. That was interesting. So let's move on to our personal dedications of merit. All sentient beings are one seamless body and pass quickly from birth to death. We remember those who cared for us and are gone. Those who are ill, those who are at war, those who are hungry and who are in pain. May they heal and have peace. We especially dedicate our service to
Billy Cray,
Conrad Shields, and all who love him.
Iris McDonald,
Mystery the cat.
Mukesh and Mita.
Mike Gingy Wood. All beings in the 10 directions, subject to the greed, hatred, and delusions of themselves and others. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva, Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Maha Prajna Paramita. And we'll do our faith and practice vow. I will never retreat and will be firm in my mind in this correct Dharma. I will escape from the samsaric cycle of birth and death and definitely will see my original face. I will be sure to inherit the life of insight of the Buddha and save all sentient beings. Hang Dong.
Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. Birds and trees and stars and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We practice and recite this for all beings in grateful thanks to our many guides along the way.
For great Bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to help them all. Delusions are countless. We vow to see through them all. Opportunities to awaken are infinite. We vow to embrace them all. The Buddha way is endless. We vow to embody it. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by and opportunities to awaken are easily lost. Strive to realize your true nature. Do not squander your time by night or day. Thank you for joining us.